And these assume but valor's excrement, to render them redoubted. Look on beauty, and you shall see this purchased by the weight, which therein works a miracle in nature, making them lightest that wear most of it. So are those crisp, snaky golden locks, which make such wanton gambols with the wind, upon supposed fairness, often known to be the dowry of a second head, the skull that bred them in the sepulchre. This ornament is but the gilded shore to a most dangerous sea, the beauteous scarf veiling an Indian beauty in a word, the seeming truth which cunning times put on. To entrap the wisest, therefore, the gaudy gold, hard foot for Midas. I will none of thee, for none of thee, though pale and common drudge, tween man and man, but thou merge lead, which rather threatenest than dost promise aught. Thy plainness moves me more than eloquence, and here choose I, joy be the consequence. Children, you can see that Bassanio is going on telling about the beauty, courage. Here he speaks about the beauty, which is really beautiful to see on the lady's face sometimes, which is covered only by the makeup materials which are bought from the chemist shops, which are weighed and given to the lady to cover her ugliness. Same way, sometimes the snaky golden locks means the hairs on the head, the golden curly hairs on the head may never belong to that head, which may be from the other head, which are from the dead heads, which are taken and made the wigs. Wigs to give the temporary beauty to the head. Yes, the skull that bred them in the sepulchre. Sepulchre means grave or the house made to keep the dead body inside. From that kind of dead bodies, the hairs are taken and the wanton. You can see here, wanton means lively, gambles means which move here and there when wind blows. Lively hairs can be witnessed, means wigs, as if they are natural. The unnatural beauty or the artificial beauty is made from the dead heads and also from purchased from the chemist shops. Same way, the three caskets were decorated in different ways. Now he comes to the golden casket. Hard food for Midas, I will none of thee. To entrap the wisest, therefore the gaudy gold. Yes, I'm changing the sentences here, ups and down, to make you clear that he is reminding himself of the Midas story. Midas story is there was a king named Midas. He asked for the boon from God. Whatever he touches should turn gold. And by chance, by mistake, he touches his own daughter, and that little girl turns to gold. Neither he can eat food because food was turning to gold, neither he can love and play with his daughter because that also turned to gold. Same way, he imagines that if he selects the gold casket, all his wishes will turn to gold, means out of use. Only the outward appearance will trap this wise man. Tween man and man, again he comes to silver. Silver, he tells that silver is very cheap, so it attracts the common man, and every man, from man to man, it can be purchased and changed. It attracts the man's mind to trap. So he never wants to select the silver also, because it may trap each common man's mind. Though merge lead, though here common lead is kept, every man can be attracted to silver, which rather threatenest than those promise aught. Lead is not at all attracting anyone's mind, but it may assure some strong promises which this silver and gold cannot. Their plainness moves me more than eloquence. More than attracted caskets, eloquence attracted caskets, I want to select the casket which is not at all attracting me, nor it is promising me the highest. And here choose I, joy be the consequence. I will select the lead casket. I expect joy in this more than mere attraction or outward appearance. In next extract, where Portia is unable to control her joy because lead was the right casket, we will see her expressions.